Hey guys, so I just wanted to make basically like a follow-up video to my previous Orange is the New Black video, where basically I spilled my soul about how I felt about Washington dying, and yeah, so I wanted to do a follow-up. I'm gonna let you guys know, I read a lot of articles, I've watched interviews ever since the season came out with Shamira Wiley and how like she spoke about it and why things are happening, and that's gonna like influence how I answer some of these questions. And so I'm just kind of answering some of the questions that were down in the comments of the last video, because there were a lot of questions, a lot of repeated questions I should say, and so I'm just gonna try and answer them to the best of my ability. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. So if you want to hear some of these questions answered, stay tuned. Okay, so one of the more recent or recurring questions that I saw was why was Washington in jail? And so Washington was in jail because I have everything written down on my iPad, by the way. That's why I'm like looking down all these questions. So she was in jail for possession with intent to sell and for trespassing. But something they mentioned in episode 12, which like the last episode of the season, was it was less than half an ounce, which like you can't really do anything with that from what I understood from the show. Non-personal experience from the show. So from that like little scene, it made me feel like she was in jail almost like on trumped up charges. Like they didn't say, like they said that she didn't have like any health issues or anything, like she rarely goes to the doctor, but not even for like a cold. And it made me feel like, okay, so this was a first time offense and they sent her to prison. So it was kind of just like, okay. And then another comment was, did she really die? From the end of season 12 and from the interviews that she's done since the season is posted, yes, she's really died. She's not coming back to the show. She's not going to be recurring. She's actually moving from New York to LA, so she will not be participating in the show anymore. So yes, she's not coming back. There's a comment down below that said that they hope it's like on Nashville where they thought she died but really she's in a coma and she's going to come back. At this point, that's probably not happening. She's gone from the show and she's moved on to something else. So another question was, why did she have to die? I saw this in a lot of comments, and when I posted the video I felt the exact same way. Like, why did she have to die? I don't understand like why they did this. And I read some articles. I read the Vox article, I read a New York Times article, I watched her on the Late Late Show, the one with Seth Meyers, whichever one he does. I watched her interview on that, and it was basically the writers wanted to make an impact while trying to let everybody know like this is actually something that happens in real life, is that these people that have actually a really great future outside of jail or outside of prison get killed for no good reason. So that's why she said that they chose her to die, is because they wanted it to make a major impact and they wanted to wake people up to what's happening right under their noses. So I don't really have much more to say about that, but yeah, that's why they said that. But on the bright side, she is starting a new show, or she's already been on a new show. She's been shooting a few episodes, and I believe the show's called You're the Worst. So if you guys want to see her in that, she is in that. Another non-show related question that I saw a few times in the comments, it was basically, what am I? That I thought was funny. One person asked if I was Canadian, another person asked if I was West African. I'm not either. I'm just American. Boring, I know. Just born in Arkansas, so that's that. Actually, I'm not offended by people asking like where I'm from or anything like that. I think it's really cool, and I take it as a compliment when people are like, oh my god, are you from this country? And I'm like, nope, I'm super basic. Nah. So that's another question I saw recurring. What is her Snapchat? So I'm gonna put the Snapchat image up in this video right here, so you can pause the video, take a picture of it with the Snapchat that's such a tongue twister, Snapchat app open. Take a picture of it and it'll add you to her friends so that you can see when she posts snaps, and you need to watch her serious snaps because her snaps are serious. You guys will get it when you start watching her snaps. Okay. So I know in the last video I asked why Watson was so angry, and I had totally forgot that Watson was one of the inmates who kept getting sent to the SHU for like not the greatest reasons. So like the first time she got sent to the SHU was because she didn't want a male guard to search her. She wanted a female guard, so they were like, well, you're being insubordinate, so they sent her the shoe. And so, you know, she came back. Yogi, who was her friend, or what was it, Yogi Jones, who was her friend, just like the yoga lady, like tried to comfort her, and they had like their ins and outs. They got into a fight, but then they like bonded over it. And then she got sent to the shoe again for having cigarettes in her bunk. And after that time, once again, she was like really affected by it, and she was like really mean once again. The only thing I didn't understand about that was you got sent to the shoe twice. Once, that's a justifiable reason to like be angry. The second time where you really like, where she was really affected by it, it was for reasons that were your own fault. So I just didn't see like her reasoning behind being mad for that second time going to the shoe, just because that was your own fault. You shouldn't have kept your cigarettes in your bunk. Like, you should have kept them somewhere else. That was you being dumb. So there was that. Answered questions. Somebody in the comments let me know about that, and then I also went and I researched all that stuff behind it. Can you guys hear my dog eating? I swear he like knows when I'm gonna do a video, because his food's been down for a good 20 minutes and he just decided to eat right now. Yeah, that's my dog. But anyways, whatever. So the next question that I saw in there is, where is Healy, or why did he go to the mental institution? So Healy, towards the end of the season, checked himself into the mental institution. This is my thought behind why he went. I didn't read any articles or any blogs or anything about why Healy went, but my thought process behind why he went was his mother had the same, I don't know what to call it, mental illness? Mental disorder? I don't know what to call it, the proper terminology. But basically his mother had schizophrenia, much like Lolly had schizophrenia. But with his mom, he had turned his back on her and was like, no, I like you on the medication. I like when you get electrolysis. That's not the word. When you get electric shock therapy. He was like, because you're normal, then you're not crazy. And so she felt really bad, and she just kind of walked out on him. And he later on felt like, I could have taken care of my mom. I should have been more understanding. And I feel like that's how he started his career as a counselor and trying to do like social work and all that kind of stuff, is that he wanted to kind of correct the wrong that he did to his mom. So in comes Lolly, who was showing the exact same symptoms as his mom. And he's like, oh my God, this is my chance to like help someone again, to make up for the bad that I did to my mom. Only to come to find out that he can't help her because she's killed someone and they want to send her to psych, and like there's just kind of like no going back from that. So he kind of just gets to the point where he just wants to commit suicide. So he starts walking into the lake or the river or some source of body. I'm not really sure where he was walking into. I know it was a large source of water where he was going to drown himself, but then he gets a phone call thinking that it was from his ex-wife, or I don't know if they're still married, from his wife, who was like a Russian bride or Russian mail order bride or something like that. And it's not her, it's his job, saying that they've caught Lolly and that she's the murderer and they're gonna take her away. So at that point I feel like Healy was like, I just can't take this anymore. I can't help anyone when I really need to help myself. I need to get help for myself. So I feel like that's why he went to the mental institution. He was like, I can't help somebody else when I'm having troubles on my own with like dealing with life and trying not to commit suicide and trying to help all these other people. So he checked himself into the mental institution. That is just my thought behind it. I once again didn't read any blogs about it. I didn't really ask anyone else about it. I saw a few comments down below just saying like he went to the mental institution, so on and so forth, but that was my opinion behind where's Healy and why he did what he did. So the last question, that it's a question, but it's more like statements that people have been making, which was, whose fault was it that Washington died? And so a lot of people have been saying it's Susan's fault or it's Bailey's fault. And I've got like maybe one or two people who are like, no, it's Humps. If Humps wouldn't have made her fight. So I'm basically gonna, I guess, kind of put it on, like take everybody's perspective. So the people who are saying it's Bailey's fault, I believe they're saying it because, yes, Bailey was the one who put his knee to her back, putting all his weight on her, causing her to suffocate, and not realizing like he should have stopped or checked on her, like realizing that yes, there's a human person underneath your leg. Like I feel like that's where people were like, that's why it's Bailey's fault. Why it's Hump's fault that people have been saying, well, if Humps wouldn't have made Susan fight her girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, or I'm gonna call her girlfriend because in that last scene we're in the hotel beds together, they seem like they might still be in love with each other, so I'm gonna call her girlfriend. When they said if Humps wouldn't have made her girlfriend and Susan fight each other, then Susan wouldn't have been feeling so like catatonic situation, or feeling like that she did something wrong, that she would have like kind of been more calm and more herself. So they feel like it's Susan's fault, because if Susan wouldn't have done like start hitting herself and everything, then Bailey wouldn't have had to try and stop Susan, and Washington wouldn't have tried to stop Bailey from hurting Susan or taking her to the psych ward. So that's why people think it's Hump's fault. Then some people think it's Pascatella's fault. The gay guy with the beard that's really big and kind of scary. Him. I think it's his fault because he was the boss and he's the one who keeps like saying, well, okay, they did this, so what? They're my guards. These are inmates. They don't deserve anything. So they keep feeling like, okay, well, if he wouldn't be like covering for his guards in like the worst kind of way and like these really awful people, then they wouldn't be doing this. I say really awful people, not really including Bailey, because he was the one who was trying to protect the inmates in the way, because he reported the fight to Caputo. He was like, he left the room and like wasn't trying to see like what was happening, all that other kind of stuff. So just about everybody else was pretty bad. Like one was the one that dated Pennsatucky was kind of like a rapist. The larger guy had fought in the war and was like basically torturing like native people that were there by like having them juggle and blow up their hands and then shoot them afterwards, and then like killing little girls and like raping them. So he was awful. And then there was Humps, who was just like mentally awful to the point where he was making inmates eat mice and like all this bunch of like putting guns to people's heads, all this other crazy stuff, just to get them to like entertain him and to make them fight and to do whatever he wanted to just keep himself entertained. He was, you know, so all that weird stuff. And then there's like the female guard, who I feel like at one point felt bad, but then she was like, well, these are my people, so I'm gonna cover for them. So that just made her bad too. Okay, and then people thought that it was Caputo's fault because Caputo was the boss and he really didn't do anything about it, and he let Piscatella just be like, no, these are my guys, you're not gonna suspend them or we're all gonna leave and blah blah blah. He should have let them all leave and he should have just started over. That was my opinion with that part. And then people thought it was Susan's fault because if Susan wouldn't have reacted the way she did when they came in and started saying that she did something wrong, that it never would have got to that point. But yeah, so I will say, like with the Susan thing, it's kind of like everything is playing on each other. So if Humps wouldn't have done what he did to Susan, then Susan wouldn't have done what she did, and Bailey wouldn't have done what he did to Susan and to Washington, and Washington wouldn't have died. But then if Caputo wouldn't have hired the veterans or even worked for MCC in the first place, then none of this really would have happened. So honestly, it's MCC's fault. There. If they wouldn't have been in the picture, I feel like none of this would have happened. They would have had their regular guards who were kind of fun and maybe a little bit lazy, but you know, there wouldn't have been this kind of a riot. So a lot of people wanted to know about that last scene where Daya picks up Humps' gun and she tells the female guard to get down, because everybody really knows the female guard didn't really do anything. She just kind of didn't fight it. So she tells her to lay down with her face down. She's pointing her gun at Humps, and everybody's saying, like a lot of people are saying, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him. And then you just see whatever, something's happening. Okay, you see kind of like Gloria in the background, like hoping that she doesn't do it, and you kind of see Red hoping that she doesn't do it, and you see them cut to Judy King, who is trying to leave. Basically, they've made her agree to say that she left the day before that Washington died, so that she is not associated with it, so that she doesn't know that it happened, so that people can't ask her about it. I said this in the comments down below to someone that I honestly believe in season 5, if there's any other reason to watch, it would just be to see what Judy King does, because I honestly feel like she will shoot him. Like she'll stop Daya from shooting Humps and she'll shoot him herself. and then she'll walk out of the prison, and when they attempt to arrest her, she'll be like, what do you mean? I was never there. You guys, I left the day before, so how can I have killed him? Like, that's how I see it going in my head, and that's why I would honestly watch season 5, episode 1. It's just to see if Judy King is what she's gonna do what I think she's gonna do, like, in my head. Because everybody was, like, making a huge deal of how Judy was trying to stay out of, like, the race wars of everybody. So, like, she was just trying to, like, rebuild her image on the outside by having the relationship with, oh, what was her name? Oh, God. Cindy, Black Cindy. Having the lesbian relationship with Black Cindy and, like, leaking that picture to the press, and how she just kind of, like, avoided the fight in the theater and, like, the movie room. She didn't want to get between the two races. So in my head, the season would go to that Judy King kills Humps, because right now all the races want Humps dead, and it'd be beneficial to Judy to shoot him. And it almost comes off as a way like she can't get caught, like she can't get charged for something since they told her that she wasn't there. So that's how I feel about it. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys agree with what I thought about with what Healy happened, or whose fault it was, or about my whole Judy King theory. I hope she shoots him. That's what I have to say about that, and I hope she gets away with it. That's an awful thing to say, isn't it? But yeah. That's kind of how I felt about the situation. But it's a TV show, so it's okay. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about everything. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and stay tuned for some more videos. See you guys in my next one. Bye.